All right, ladies and gentlemen, start your watches. I apologize again because Tuesday really was abusive for the legs. I'm gonna turn the actual video feed on. Sorry, everybody watching online. Okay. We do have mainly a stretch day. Please do not be alarmed when we start doing a little bit of legs, because if your legs are sore, actually working them out is super important for breaking up the lactic acid. I don't know why I wanted to hug the mirror today, so I'm just gonna move my mat. We're gonna start standing. I know, I'm so sorry. Every class last session was starting on the ground, and now we're gonna start standing every time. But today shouldn't be too bad. Don't get confused though, because stretching does get difficult for a lot of people. If it does get difficult for you, feel free to take any modification that you need or ask me for a modification. I'm more than willing to give you an alternative movement to any of the things that we are doing. We just have the blocks. Weights are completely optional today. You really don't need them at all unless you want like extra resistance. I would suggest the blocks just in case you have trouble reaching the ground and you have T-Rex arms like me. Other than that, we're gonna just go ahead and get started. So taking those deep breaths in, reach all the way up. Inhale, length through those fingertips, slight back bend. Feel free to tilt to either side. And exhale, we're gonna fold over those legs, hinging at the hips, rounding out the back, feeling the stretch to the backs of our legs. We're gonna grab onto either elbow and just swing from side to side. How we doing with the music volume? Everybody okay? Okay. We're gonna keep breathing, just finding the length in our lower back, stretching that out as well as stretching out both left and right sides of our body. We're gonna take another deep breath in. Palms are gonna fall to the floor, slight bend in the knees, reach all the way up, activating through that core. Length through the fingertips again. Back bend. Slight bend in those knees, and we'll fall over the legs again. Starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Deep breath in, palms to the floor, slight bend in the knees, engage through the core, reach up. And we'll make that fall forward one more time. Hinging at the hips, round out the back. Little swing from side to side. Exhale, we're gonna press those palms to the floor, slowly lift up to our shins, and we're actually gonna do a half lift here. So pressing those legs back, keeping the back flat. We're gonna tuck our chin slightly into our chest. And exhale, fall over those legs, forward fold. Deep breath in, rolling all the way up to standing. Reach to those fingertips. We're gonna take our right arm and grab our left wrist. Little stretch to the side. Switching over. Left hand grabs right wrist. Feel free to point that toe if you want a little extra lengthen through the left side body. Completely up to you. Switching back to the first side, grab that wrist. Exhale, coming all the way back. Reach back through center, roll those wrists down, slowly fall over those legs, forward fold. Quick, gentle little warm up for today, only a couple more things left. We're gonna roll all the way back up to standing. We're gonna reach. Interlace those hands behind your back. Lift that chest up. Feel free to roll out the neck. If you want a deeper stretch here, you can bend those knees, hinge to the hips, falling all the way into a forward fold. Then the stretch, shift more into those shoulders. One more deep breath in, coming all the way up. One more reach. Interlace those hands above your head. Press through the ceiling. And roll that chin into your chest. We're gonna lower all the way down. Rounding out those shoulder blades. Feel free to rock side to side here if that feels good to you. Sometimes you need to isolate each side in order to feel that stretch. It's completely okay. One more deep breath in. We're lifting. We're going to lower all the way down into that forward fold. Last little bit. Feel free to pedal out those legs. Alternate bending one side over the other just to feel that stretch more into the backs of your legs here. Another deep breath in. We're going to bring those palms onto those shins and press back. Flat back, hinging at the hips. And exhale, lowering all the way down, back into that forward fold. Palms are going to be pressed into the mat. We're going to step back with each foot, finding that downward dog. Alternate lifting each heel, pedaling out those feet. A little bit of a shoulder warm up. We're going to shift our hips forward, stack those shoulders over the heels of our palms. Find that plank, tuck your tailbone up and underneath of you. And exhale, shift back, downward dog. We're going to do that again a couple more times just to establish a little bit of a flow, a little bit of warm up. Shifting forward, engaging that core, tuck the tailbone up and underneath. Press through those shoulders. Don't let your body fall downward here. Exhale, press back, downward dog, pressing your chest into the tops of your thighs, tailbones lifting up. And we're going to tuck that tailbone up underneath, engage the core one more time here. Exhale, coming all the way back into that downward dog. Slowly walking our feet back up to our hands. Another deep breath in, coming all the way into standing. Now our bodies are all warm. We're going to start with that leg segment. Again, I'm so sorry. We're going to keep our stance shoulder width apart. Knees are going to be stacked over our ankles. And we're going to start with a few squats. Feel free to use their weights if you would like. Completely optional here, depending on your intensity level. Engaging through those glutes. The glutes are sending us up. We're not fully locking at the top. You want to keep constant tension through those quads. Lengthening through the glutes completely as we drop down. Keep your chest lifted. Try not to round out the back. Using that breath. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press up. One more deep breath in. We're going to lower all the way down. Hold here, and we're just going to slow pulse up and lower. We're only lifting our glutes about 2 inches past that 90-degree angle. That we would keep in that normal squat hold. So we're not coming all the way up and lowering. And again, this is slow. So we're keeping constant tension. I'm going to keep those deep breaths. Quads are going to be on fire. I'm so sorry. Another deep breath in. We're going to hold in that low squat. Let's alternate lifting each heel off the ground. Activate the calves a little bit. Build up a little bit more lactic acid and break down the old lactic acid. Just keep breathing. You might get a little bit of a shake through those calves. It's completely okay. Couple more seconds. We're almost done with legs. Not too much today. And let's just hold still. 15 seconds, squat hold. You got it. Deep breaths. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lifting all the way up. Shake out those legs. Give them a nice break. We're going to transition right into those alternating squat curtsies or lunge curtsies. Feel free to just do normal lunges too. So if you want to take it back into those 90 lunges and alternate here, that one's going to focus more work on your quads. The curtsy lunges are going to pull more from your glutes, so you're sending those hips back. Pressing through all 4 corners of your feet. We're opening up the inner thighs to the wall in front of us. Just remember to keep breathing, slow and in control. Only a tiny bit more of a leg burn left. Promise. Not trying to destroy your legs today. Couple more deep breaths in. We're gonna hold in that left lunge curtsy and we're just gonna pulse it out. Sending that weight into our left glute. 15 more seconds. Almost there, guys. Just keep that breath. Take breaks when you need to. Your legs might be on fire. Mine are. It's okay to take breaks. One last deep breath. We're going to hold in that curtsy lunge and just lift that left heel off the ground. Focusing on those calf muscles right now. Working on that balance. 10 more seconds. You got it. Just keep breathing through. Feel free to take that break and get back into it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're all the way up. Shake out those legs if you need to. And we'll go straight into that right lunge curtsy pulse. Again, we're pushing through those glutes, send those hips back. Chest is lifted. Whatever you need to do. If you need some water, feel free to get a drink. Trying to see if you keep left and right side even right now. 3, 2, 1. We're gonna hold and just lift that heel. Almost there, guys. See, can you feel it? 10 more seconds. Keep that balance. You got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're standing. Shake those legs out. Take advantage of that break. Grab a drink of water if you need to. Feel free to jump. If that feels good to you. When you're ready, we're back. We're gonna reach all the way up, expand through the chest. And exhale, fall over those legs. Feel a nice stretch. Transitioning into that forward fold. We're gonna lower our hands all the way down to the mat. Slight bend in those knees, step back with the left foot and the right. Finding ourselves in that high plank position. Just hold here, engage that core. Trying to balance that wine glass on the top of our head. So looking a little bit in front of your mat here. Slight bend in those elbows. One more deep breath in. High plank. I'm gonna re-bend those knees. Find that bear hold, hover. Straight back into that high plank. So coming into a little bit of a flow here. Feeling those quads activate a little bit. At the same time, warming up your shoulders a little bit too. You're just gonna keep those breaths. It's starting to get a little warm. Almost done. Just keep those breaths. Last one. Let's come all the way back into that high plank. We're gonna do a little bit of ground and core work here. So alternating each knee, we're just gonna bring it to the elbow on our same side and step back. Right knee, right elbow, step back, high plank. Left knee, left elbow, step back, high plank. Don't sacrifice your core engagement here just to get your knee closer to your elbow. This is a very core dominated movement. So if you can't bring your elbow up any higher, that's completely okay. 15 more seconds. Should feel like you're trying to lift your hips into your ribs. Just keep that breath. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to shift our weight into that right hand, bringing it to the center of our mat. Go ahead and lift your left arm up into the air, reach over your head. You can stack your knees and your feet over top of each other. You can bring your elbow all the way down to the mat as well. We're just going to do a few hip pulses here. So activating through those obliques, using that to crunch yourself up. Again, option to take it all the way down to that elbow if your shoulder's starting to get tired. Completely up to you. Only a couple more. 3, 2, 1. Let's transition all the way over to the other side. Same thing. We're just going to pulse it out. Slowly lower, slowly lift. You've got it. And engaging through those obliques. Don't forget about the core. Almost done. 3, 2, 1. Let's come back to that full plank. You can keep it on your forearms still, or you can bring it all the way up. Completely optional. We're just going to tap our feet to the outsides of the mat. So we're trying not to move the whole body. We're just moving the legs. Try to keep your hips as stationary as possible. Engaging through that core. Tuck the tailbone up and underneath. Squeeze the glutes. Ten more seconds. You got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering all the way down to those knees. Let's push back. Find a nice child's pose. Option to walk your arms to either side of the mat just to feel a deeper stretch for the left and right side body. Go ahead and take one more deep breath in. Let's come back, lifting ourselves all the way into that 4-point tabletop position. You're going to do something different with your hands here. So you're going to bring your hands in this type of position, put them directly under your chest, and we're going to lower our chest all the way down in between that diamond that you're making between your pointer finger and your thumb. Should mainly be feeling this one kind of in the triceps as you push up. You don't want to bring your forehead to the center of that diamond because ultimately that's not going to help if you're just kind of bouncing there. You want your chest to lower as low as you can and lift. You've got it. Couple more. Last one, we're going to lower down and just pulse it out. Gently lift about 2 inches and lower. Lift and lower. Those arms are going to be burning, so take that break if you need to. Get a drink of water. Only a couple more. For 10. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting all the way up. Feel free to roll out those wrists. We're actually going to do a little gentle wrist stretch here. We're going to take our right arm. We're going to point our fingertips to the floor and just pull your fingers a little bit closer towards you. Slowing down the breathing. Focusing on the music. Totally toning out. That's okay. And we're going to flip down, so show off that ring. And we're going to pull the fingertips. And a deep breath in. Let's bring it to the other side now. So our fingertips pointing to the floor. Palm facing out. We're going to pull the fingers to us. Trying to feel that stretch through the wrists. Another deep breath in. Go ahead and do the ring flip with the fingers. Gently pulling that wrist closer to you. One last deep breath in. Go ahead and roll out those wrists a little bit more. Let's come back into that 4-point position. We're going to hold our palms normally now, so they're going to be stacked directly under our shoulders. We're going to step those knees a little bit further back and just drop down, lift up. So trying to keep those elbows tucked tight to our side as we lower and lift. As you lower down, if you want to increase the intensity of this movement here, you can rock forward and rock back, push up, completely up to you. Definitely an intensity increaser, so don't feel obligated to do that one if you don't want to. Couple more seconds. Last one, we're gonna do the same thing, so lowering all the way down and go into those slow pulses. About 2 inches up and 2 inches down. You can try to keep to the beat of the music. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and we'll do a 10-second hold here. You got it. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pushing all the way back. Finding that child's pose. This will be a favorite pose of the entire class. Option to roll out those wrists or walk the hands side to side. Just get a quick breather. Focus on the breath. And exhale, let's lift all the way back up. We're going to cross our legs behind us. Gently push back, coming all the way into that seated position. We'll extend our legs directly in front of us, kind of making like a V position here. We're going to open our arms up into that T pose and just twist. Finding length through the top of our head. Should feel like there's a string connected to the top of your head and someone's pulling you up. Controlling that rotation through the core. Keeping it slow if you need to. Couple more seconds. Last one. We're going to add a little bit of a seesaw. So we're going to twist over to that side. Reach for that opposite ankle. Pulse twice. Come back up. Twist. Pulse. Pulse. Lift. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Twist. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Exhale. Lift. Still controlling through the core here. Don't let the abdominals give out. Take it as slow as you need to. Couple more seconds. And exhale, we'll lift all the way back up. Feel free to interlace above the head. Slight side bend. And exhale, lower all the way down onto that back for a little bit of core work today. We're going to keep our feet on the mat. We're just going to do a slow crunch up and lower. You can keep those hands directly behind your head if you need to. Just make sure you're not using your hands to pull your head up. You want your lift to come solely from your core. Option to lift those legs all the way up. Bring this into a reverse tabletop. But if your legs get too heavy here, you can always lower them down onto the ground. About 10 more seconds. Really getting that core activation. When you're ready, let's try adding that cross-body crunch. So we're going to twist, bring opposite elbow up to that opposite knee, and lower back down. Pulling from the obliques or the sides of our abdomen here. Couple more seconds, you've got it. For 5, 4, 3, 2, One option to add that leg drop. So it's almost like we're coming into a bicycle crunch here. Just dropping either leg. Slow and in control. Keep that breath. Activate through the core. 5 more seconds. And we'll go straight into a little burner, going into full bicycles here. Keep those shoulders lifted. Keep that core engaged. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feel free to keep those legs lifted. We're going to extend both of our hands to either side of those legs, and we're going to go into some quick hundreds here. So again, it's like we're bouncing those basketballs underneath our hands. If you need a little bit of a break or a slight modification, you can bring your legs all the way down to the ground. We're just going to breathe it out here. Five more seconds and we'll add on. Feel free to start extending either leg, one at a time. Don't let that core give out on you. Option to extend both legs. Completely up to you. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and pull those knees close to your chest. Give them a nice hug. Press the core. One last little burner, and we'll go into the rest of today's exercises. All we're going to do is alternate. Pull right knee in, extend left. Extend right leg, pull left. So just alternating that pull. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that core engaged. If your head does get too heavy, holding everything up, you can always drop it down to the mat. Just make sure you're pressing your lower back into the floor right now. You don't want to have that tunnel. Couple more seconds. Last deep breath in. Bring both those knees in and just set them down onto the ground. You can alternate dropping each knee to each side. A little bit of a runner stretch here. Give that core a nice break. Have a little bit more upper body to do. And then we'll get right into those stretches. So we're going to flip on over onto our stomach. All we're going to do is drop our forehead onto our forearms, crossing both of them over top of each other in front of us. And just drop your forehead there. So take a deep breath. Give yourself a nice breather. All I want you to do from here, if you can, is just alternate lifting each leg. So pulling from your glutes here. Should feel like there's a string attached to your toe and someone's pulling you down. Trying to fully press your pelvic bone into the floor. A tip that I heard about this stretch was just trying to lift your belly button off the floor, or at least that should be what it feels like, just to make sure you're engaging the core here. Quick deep breath. Option to add on to it and lift both legs at the same time. Again, we're still wanting to make sure we're pulling through the glutes and squeezing through the core. Keep that upper body relaxed. One last deep breath in. We're going to hold those legs up and just flutter the legs back and forth. Five more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Lower those legs down. Transitioning into the upper body portion here. We're just going to lift our head up and lower. We're pulling from the upper back here, so we're not pressing through the forearms to lift ourselves up. We're not lifting through the glutes. We're just using that back to lift the head up and down. Once you feel like you got the right muscle activation going on there and you feel it more in your back, you can add on to this and lift the forearms up as well if you want to increase that intensity. 5 more seconds. Option to increase the intensity and Y out the arms at the top. Bring them back in and lower. Lift, Y, lower. Don't forget the core here. Squeezing the back, but also squeezing the core. Feel free to use the weights if you want to increase the intensity, but warning, that does get super tiring after a little bit. We'll leave those arms out in that Y. You can try lifting the legs up as well and lower. Lift both and lower. Couple more seconds. Last one. Let's lift and we'll just hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna push ourselves all the way back. Find that child's pose. It's gonna be our best friend. We've finally made it to the stretch part of today. Good job, guys. But we're not done yet. Let's press back into that tabletop position, curling our toes up and underneath us. Send those hips back. Lift your tailbone into the air, finding yourself in that downward dog. Again, we're pressing our ribs into the tops of our thighs. Lift through that belly button. Pointing your tailbone to the ceiling. One last deep breath in. Exhale. Go ahead and lift that left leg up and into the air, feeling that stretch through the back side of your right leg. Feel free to bend your left knee and twist your hips left if you want a little extra stretch through the hips here. We're still trying to keep our shoulders parallel to the floor beneath us. Another deep breath in. Deepening through the stretch. And exhale. We're going to bring our knee to the middle of our chest. Kick back, three-legged dog. Bring the knee to the outside elbow. Kick back, three-legged dog. Bear with me, this next stretch can get a little bit difficult, but I'll show a few modifications. We're going to bring our knee to the inside elbow, so the opposite elbow here. Kick that leg all the way through. Option to lower all the way down onto your hips here and just reach with that arm. Or you can lift yourself all the way up and reach. A little bit more of a deep breath. Exhale, lowering back down onto those hands. Kick that leg back through. Modification, feel free to drop down onto that right knee. We're going to send our left foot over and lift, or you can come into that full wild thing stretch and lift everything all the way up and off the mat. Just keep that breath. Exhale, bring both those palms back down to the mat, finding that high plank. And then push those hips back. Send that leg all the way up. Three-legged dog. Left knee is going to come into the center of our chest. And we're just going to step through in between left and right hand. Finding that high lunge. Letting the hips adjust here. Feel free to rock forward and back. Just a gentle stretch. Through the legs, to the glutes. Also, feel free to use both of those blocks here if you need additional height support. Sometimes I forget they're there, so if you ever need the blocks, feel free to just grab them. We're gonna straighten that front leg now and go all the way into a full pyramid pose. If you want to emphasize a little bit more of a stretch to the calf instead of the hamstring, you're gonna lift those toes all the way up and point them to the ceiling. Don't look at the bottom of my sock because it's dirty. I didn't know that. Really focusing on that deep breathing here. Folding all the way over that leg. You want to start gently increasing the stretch here. Exhale, we'll rebend. Go ahead and lower that back leg all the way down onto the mat, coming into that low lunge. Gently holding here. Gonna take another deep breath. And we're gonna reach, finding that low crescent lunge. Keep that stretch controlled here, so as you bend through the hips, you don't want to just sink. And we're gonna open our chest to that bent knee. Hold here. If you really want to increase the stretch, you can reach all the way back for that back ankle, or you can grab onto one of those blocks and reach. That made it harder for me, so I don't know. Completely up to you. Should be feeling this stretch to the hip, lengthening through the right side of your body. Another deep breath in. We'll go ahead and windmill forward again. Coming back into that modified pyramid, so straightening out that front leg. Gently folding over that knee as you slowly adjust this stretch here. One more deep breath in. We'll rebend that front knee. Gently stepping that left foot to the outside of our mat. Few options here. If you want more of that upper body stretch, you can just lift through that left arm. Reach with the fingertips. If you want more of a stretch through the hips and the low back, you're going to come all the way down onto your forearms, finding that lizard pose. Or you can just stay here. That's completely okay as well. You can push the knee out. Whatever feels most comfortable to you and your muscles right now. We'll take another deep breath in. Exhale. Let's heel toe that knee all the way to the other side of the mat. And we're going to gently lower into that pigeon stretch. Gently stretching a little bit more here. Try not to fall to either side of our hips. Exhale. We'll come all the way back up. Gently drop over to the left glute. We're going to swing our right leg all the way over in front of us, kind of blocking it with the top of your left thigh. And we're just going to twist and press that left elbow into our right knee. Go ahead and take another deep breath here. And exhale, we'll unravel ourselves, send that leg all the way back. We're going to press all the way up. Find that high plank and gently push back into that down dog again. Doing the same thing for the other side. Go ahead and lift that right foot all the way up into the air. You can stay here. You can bend that right knee. Gently open up the hips to the right wall. Hold here for a quick breath. Exhale.